So we should be able to wrap this up in this podcast, the end of the book. So here now is the conclusion of the concluding remarks. Remember, we are in chapter 11, which is titled Concluding Remarks on the Book, and we talked about each section of the book, state of the world, approaching the world, changing the world, and now we are going to conclude. It's easy to succumb to pessimism like Zizek's apocalyptic view that we are closer to the end of the world than to a fundamental social change towards sustainability. Just to be sure, I don't believe such language at all, okay? However, I choose to be optimistic and hope that Simon is proven right when stating perhaps our salvation will come from severity of the problems we will have to solve, finding an ecologically sustainable state for the earth and all its living inhabitants, injecting far stronger criteria of fairness into the allocation of available resources and their products, and disarming the vicious competitions that now take place between every imaginable sort of we and they. This is a true one example of this pressure that forced us to invent rapidly. Of course, severity of the problem was the pandemic when COVID-19 hit, and there was an accelerated process based on a lot of funding available, profit motives and so on, where vaccines were rushed into the market, literally 1/3 or 1/5 of the time that usually it takes for vaccines to go through their development, testing process and so on. So vaccines presumably worked, reducing the number of deaths and so on. So the vicious competition, this is tricky because nobody thinks it's a non-zero sum game. So each country sees the other developing country as the enemy, or do espionage and cyber hacking and so on to steal secrets, but also hamper economic growth of another country. So this can get definitely very vicious, and whether we are capable of coming to a non-zero sum game approach to competition, in which case it can be creative tension where you are competing to develop things that are good for sustainable pathway, and we are not killing each other to do that, and let the best person win in the market can drive us towards decarbonizing, net zero and getting away from the carbon trap. So I'm adding my words here to the book. Science has important roles to play in facilitating such dramatic and critical changes in the transactions of humankind, changes that are necessary for the continuation of our world as we know it. Most scientific disciplines have a role in this endeavor, but the holistic, systemic and transdisciplinary approach of sustainability science is imperative in this context, as it brings together scholarship and practice, global and local perspectives from north and south, and disciplines across the natural and social sciences, engineering and medicine. Sustainability science provides a comprehensive description of our sustainability challenges, as well as the coherent conceptual and transformative frameworks to explain, understand and improve them. It maps the past, present and many potential futures. This many potential futures is about the scenarios like the IPCC provides. They started with special reports on emission scenarios, then they moved on to assessment reports, then they called them representative concentration pathways, and now we are in shared socioeconomic pathways, basically assuming what we will do in the future in terms of population growth, renewables, bioenergy, carbon capture and so on and so forth, right? So those are the many potential future scenarios. I lost my track here. So Most scientific disciplines have a role in this endeavor, but the holistic, systemic, and transdisciplinary approach of sustainability science is imperative in this context, as it brings together scholarship and practice, global and local perspectives from north and south, and disciplines across natural and social sciences, engineering, and medicine. Okay, I think I already read this. So we were somewhere here. It points out the necessity of managing, or at least grasping, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and dynamic change for sustainable development to be possible in our contemporary world, and provides conceptual tools and approaches to facilitate that. The concepts of risk and resilience are thus fundamental for sustainability science, and so are systems approaches and participatory approaches. So this idea of staying on the path despite the uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and dynamic change for sustainable development, is important, but this applies to climate actions as well. I mentioned COVID-19 in the context of vaccines, but COVID-19 also exposed how quickly we abandon climate actions when push comes to shove, because economic development remains the prime goal for pretty much every country. And you can also see it play out in many ways, where Russia invades Ukraine, the gas markets get perturbed. US, of course, Europe needs energy for winter, and they start buying gas from Norway and US. Norway and US make a lot of money, but Europeans also start talking about firing up coal plants to manage the gaps in energy demand, and UK took an approach of paying people for their gas bills and so on. So you can see how quickly geopolitical perturbations, socioeconomic perturbations, can put climate action on the back seat, and this will be the same challenge for staying on the sustainable development pathway as well, right? So science is a key driver for change towards sustainability, but not only through the descriptive focus of traditional science. Sustainability science must also be prescriptive and supply a scientifically rigorous way of bridging the chasm between the descriptive and prescriptive by complementing traditional science with design science. It also highlights the importance of practical action and emphasizes the significance of capacity development for resilience as a tool for sustainability. In addition to the changes in society caused by intentional capacity development or other practical initiatives, sustainability science also promotes fundamental changes of society, making social change toward a more sustainable world a central aim of all. This is something like decarbonization. The emissions reduction paradigm has led to negotiations for now almost 2.5 decades, but emissions are not coming down at all, and we are not so sure whether we are near peak emissions. So optimistic view is that we are deploying more renewables, we are deploying EVs, and so on and so forth, efficiencies, new innovations, etc. But unless emissions begin to come down, we are not really seeing much success, right? Or we are not sure how close we are to a turning point or this social change. And that's the same here in terms of sustainability science, right? So in that sense, resilience as a tool for sustainability is still the paradigm, but whether this paradigm can work in terms of bringing everybody together to get beyond the vicious competition, to move and as a global humanity towards sustainability, that has to happen. So in addition to I already said that intentional capacity development or other practical initiatives, we need to make social change a central aim. Finally, our world is an amazing place, and we have proven throughout history to be an astonishingly adaptive species. This is true. We have not only conquered all corners of the world, we have flourished regardless of environmental circumstances, although our current prospects are rather disheartening considering our apparent incapacity to substantially address our contemporary challenges. I am sure we will prevail this time around too. The The rapid change is the speed of change, the velocity of change is what is new here, because we are very large in number as a population, even though fertility rates are dropping, and our increase or acceleration of energy intensive lifestyles is also very rapid, so our innovations are not keeping up. But again, the incentives to do carbon capture, to make solar energy, wind energy, energy from various other ways are motivators, and maybe there will be a game changer that will come around and change everything, take out carbon dioxide from the atmosphere like Coca-Cola, suck it out and put it somewhere, and so on and so forth. So the question is therefore not if we will change direction towards sustainability, but when the anticipated or actual costs are high enough to make anything else so overwhelmingly troubling that even the ambivalent and hesitant majority starts to engage in addressing our situation. Do we need to get to that stage to make a change, or will solutions come along well before that based on market forces or just hunger for solving these issues as a technological challenge? Hope is truly as stubborn as ever. So let's end on that optimistic note, and we will next move on to social science research and sustainability, and science research and sustainability, and then sustainability education. Okay, so I have many books lined up to do this. As I said, in a classroom you would package the course into material that finishes in 14 weeks or so, whereas on YouTube I can keep adding material that I find interesting, so you can pick and choose what you want to focus on. I put them in sections, so this book is a section of the sustainability series, and next up actually is the social science research and so on. Okay, so see you in the next section on sustainability science, sustainability principles, sustaining the commons, and so on.